They do you nothing, don't they? I'm not talking about. Look, we all have a bad day, yeah. We all have a bad day in jail, and you act out, and you could have got a bad phone call, or Screw's just been telling you he's going to do something for a week and still ain't done it. We all have those days, but I'm talking about the people that just kick off all day long, every single day, 10 times a day, and your day is like dictated by that one person because everything they do it impacts on the whole wing. It impacts on the whole wing. They'll be kicking off left, right, and centre for nothing, for the slightest of things, and oh mate, there'll be the reason that Soch gets cancelled. There'll be the reason that Soch is late. There'll be the reason Soch finishes early. Dinner's delayed by hours. The reason that you won't get a shower, or you only get a minute in the shower or something. There'll be the reason you get no phone call that day, or there'll be the reason there's always noise and there's always movement and commotion and outside your cell door. You know what I mean? Cell bell going off. It's a noise, isn't it? It's constantly going off outside their cell. There'll be the reason that there's no peace at bang up for that reason. But on the bell, then Screw comes to the door. They'll be arguing about saying, there's always footsteps stomping about because of it. There's always keys jangling. Exercise gets cancelled, or exercise is late, or you get brought in off the yard early, all because these people are kicking off. There'll be the reason that actually, I said about dinner. The reason your dinner gets delayed, obviously, there's knock-on effects to that, isn't there? If you don't get your dinner, if you're sitting on the hot plate for an hour or 2 hours, it's going to be freezing by the time you get it, innit? It's going to be dead. Everything's going to be dry and hard. It's going to be like eating cold cardboard, man. So there'll be the reason that you get no gym, or your visits late, or you don't get to the library or the canteen, or you get your canteen late, or there'll be the reason. Well, that causes stress on the wing as well, doesn't it? That causes untold stress on the wing as well. Yeah, everyone's stressed out. Everyone's sort of arguing. Everyone just wants peace, don't they? Everyone wants peace, and just to get on with their day, yeah. And you lose sympathy for these people pretty quick, yeah. I mean, some of them can't handle bang up, yeah, not being behind their door. And the ones that kick off constantly are usually high risk. Usually means they're not allowed to sell, mate, for whatever reason. They won't be allowed to sell, mate, yeah. And being on their own will drive them mad, and that's when it kicks off. You know what I mean? For them, like they'll be constantly on the bell or something. That's when the bell starts, and they'll be just asking for random stuff. Just, can I have a toilet roll? Can I have a razor? Can I have this? Can I have that? What time's dinner, Gov? What time's social? This, that. Why? What? Why are you starting to ignore me? And then it just escalates. You know what I mean? Because they can't sit there on their own. I'm not even saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying that's the reason why they're kicking off. But you lose sympathy. You're in your cell. You got your own problems to deal with. You lose sympathy pretty quick, thinking, well, this guy's obviously can't handle whatever he's thinking about. You just want him to shut up, don't you? You just want him to shut up, just so you can go to sleep, watch telly, read your paper, do whatever you're doing. Some prisoners like the attention, like a dog, mate, good or bad. They just love the attention. They don't know the difference between good attention, bad attention. They just want some form of attention. So they have to kick off to get that attention, to get the extra attention that they're obviously craving. Some people, they just might have problems. Yeah. Some people just got a really short fuse, yeah? Short fuse, and they'll just take offence at everything. I think everything's a challenge. I'm talking like with the Screws, like, you know what I mean? They'll just think everything that the Screw says is, why is the mail late? I'm going to kick off. You're obviously doing it just to me. Why am I 10 minutes late to get out for dinner? You're obviously doing it just to me. A couple of examples. This geezer. I was on the servery in Chelmsford, yeah. On the induction wing. And there'd be a lot of fellas on that wing. I don't even mean fellas that are on the numbers. There'll be fellas that used to have to stay on the induction wing because another wing would have them, yeah. This was one of them fellas, and he used to kick off left, right. It's a big old geezer as well, yeah. Look, he literally looked like he could probably pick up 4 screws just pick them up and move them, yeah. And dinner time come, he got he was one of the last out. There was hardly no chips left. So he had a few chips, but he wanted more, and there weren't none. So obviously that was just a pure insult. What the screws ain't gonna go to get just a handful of chips from the kitchen for me at 6 o'clock at night? Why not? So he's walked off. He's got whatever he's got and tied it round his neck, then just tied it to the banister. It wasn't like it wasn't high up. He was literally at the foot of the stairs that lead up, that you walk up to go up to the ones or twos or whatever. He was on the ground floor. Walked up to the banister, tied it to his neck, tied it there. Hunched over. Was there for what? Hour? Screws just did not touch him. Just sit there talking with him. He's swung himself round and he's sitting on the stairs now, sitting down, tied up. I'm going to hang myself if I don't get any more chips. You're always taking me for a mug. Right? It comes a point now, doesn't it, where you're starting thinking, mate, it's chips. You can have my chips. You know what I mean? Like, you can put a bit of rice with them chips. Whatever, I'll give you whatever you want. But those sort of people, they don't really want that. It's a liberty in it to them. It's such a liberty. But I don't think it's that. I just think he wants the attention. This is the sort of person to me that just wants attention. Like, I'm going to kill myself. I don't get it. All the other boys now are kicking off. The people that are still behind the door that ain't been fed yet. Yeah. Banging on the door, getting on the cell. But rightly so. I mean, you want to eat your dinner at 4 or 5, yeah? So when you're waiting, you wait 10 minutes past that time when you're in jail, yeah? You're thinking, what's going on? And you're pacing up and down with your plate in your hand and all that, yeah? So, like, imagine, like, people, like, behind the door for, like, half hour. You know what I mean, yeah? They're on the bell and they're kicking off. It's all because he just wants a couple more chips that ain't there. Literally, that are not there. He's saying that there's more under that we should get the other tray out or whatever, yeah? You know what I mean? It gets to the stage where we would, behind the surgery, we would. But the screws are like, just like, not letting it happen, like, you know what I mean? So, like, they won't give him chips. They won't go and get him. He's saying go to the kitchen, like, you know what I mean? They're not doing that. They're not letting him have any of the other landing. It's just, but it gets to the stage where you're thinking, right, you won't let him have chips, you won't let him do that. We'll twist him up and get him behind the door then. And they don't. And there's always certain prisoners that they just take the piss out of them. And he was one of them, yeah, because he was a big old lump. He was actually all right, to be fair. He was all right. I used to chat to him every day as I was doing the surgery, like doing the menus every day, going around asking people what they wanted for the next day. So I used to talk to him a couple times a day. He's actually all right. Bit childlike, you know what I mean? I think that's why I'm saying he wanted attention. But, you know, you're sitting on the stairs, you want some more chips, right, fair enough. But you've got like 100 other men that, we're all prisoners, yeah? What, you genuinely don't care that everyone else is starving, like, you know what I mean? That all their food is cold. Whatever chips that you're not going to get, they'll be cold if you even did get them. He never got them, you know what I mean? He just probably just got bored and untied himself and walked to his cell. I mean, next door, like when I was in Pentonville, this geezer, he could not handle being on his own. Yeah, could not handle it. He was a single cell, and he was my next door, right? So every night he used to go mad. He'd go mad at like, well, I don't know what he was going mad at. He'd go mad in his cell to himself, yeah, and he wanted a cellmate, right? And he was I think he was Romanian, yeah. He couldn't understand why he wasn't allowed a cellmate, yeah. He spoke English and all that, but the screws are telling him, look, you're high risk, you're not allowed a cellmate, blah blah blah. He could not, and this happened every night. And 2 weeks after about a week, he stopped coming out his cell anyway. Yeah, I'll explain that after in a bit, but he'd be on his cell bells going, and that's a wind up to everyone. Bells going off, yeah. It's a noise on the wing, yeah. This is night time now. People want to be on their cells and doing whatever, yeah. And this is our next door. Screw would come. He'd kick off. Oh, there's that. He'd just make up excuses about why he's kicking off, yeah. It would escalate, they'd walk off, the screw would walk off, he'd get on the bell again. They wouldn't come straight away, you know what I mean? Because if they know he's just getting on the bell, so sometimes the bell could be going off a half hour, which is out of order as well, yeah. The screws know it's winding everyone up. What the screw's hoping for is someone's going to stick it on him, yeah, but didn't happen with this geezer because he didn't come out of his cell. He's on the bell and the screws going. Whatever he's asking for, he's not getting. It's night time, yeah. Screw's not opening your door, doing whatever. Yeah, he just wants human contact. He wants someone to stay with him and talk to him. Yeah. Then you get the razor out, the razor blade, start going to town on himself. Yeah. If you don't do what I'm gonna do, you do what I want. I'm gonna do this. Screws have heard it every single night. He'd go to work on himself. Eventually, they can't ignore this. Screw nurse would become Oscar one nurse. Oscar one is in charge. He's the only one that can really open the cell doors at night. Nurse would come, doctor, whatever. They'd been there, and that's what he wanted. He's one. Then he's got the door open. He's sitting on his bed with a nurse and a doctor or whatever, just chatting, and he's calm. And all these things, they were chicken scratches as well. They weren't deep. They were literally chicken scratches, like attention seeking. You just do that to yourself for 10 minutes. That's what it looked like. Yeah. By the morning, you can barely see it. So he's doing all this and he's playing them off just so he can get the door open and chat away for a couple of hours. Yeah, usually someone like that, they wouldn't last long on the wing. You know what I mean? They get moved, but because it brings it on top as well. Yeah, if you're in your cell and you're doing something at night, I mean, what are you doing? You could be doing anything: smoking a joint, sitting on the phone, brewing hooch, fucking doing any sort of drug, really, couldn't you? You could be doing anything, having a fight with your cellmate, doing whatever, yeah. But you can't do that because the screw's constantly up and down the cell, and it's only because Numpty wants to be babysat all night. It's for nothing. He's not in any way, shape or form thinking he's going to hurt himself. He's not really even trying to hurt himself with a razor. I mean, so it brings it on top for everyone because you got to think, yeah. I'm not just talking about myself here. If I talk about myself born in a bun at zoo or whatever, you got to think how many geezers are around this geezer that want to do exactly the same thing and they can't. No one can relax because he wants to get on the bell all night long. You know what I mean? After a couple of days, I say a week, he stopped coming out his cell anyway, yeah, because it was people was going to do him off allegedly, but that's not even like why he stopped coming out his cell. He stopped coming out his cell because he was selling in Mandy on the wing, yeah. What he said was Mandy, but I'm pretty sure he just melted down some sort of tablet. I mean, if you melt down a paracetamol, yeah, let it burn, melt it down on tin foil, let it go hard again, crumble it up. It looks like brown, yeah. You can sell it as brown, yeah. All it's going to do is clear up whoever's headache, yeah. But it looks like brown, and I think he done the same thing, yeah. But he just added sugar, yeah. Because I even see it, fucking like this is through the pipe, yeah. This is like when he said this is like a few days, but during the daytime, mate, he was okay, yeah. He was actually all right. First few days, you sort of like feel pity for him, don't you? And you're talking him to in the daytime during social, going, "You all right? Like you're gonna kick off tonight? If you want, you can chat to me." Blah 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 blah. It's one of them ones, isn't it? After a few days, you lose that, and you stop talking to him, and then you know what I mean. But whatever. But he passed me something through the pipe. Yeah, he's like, "What do you think of this? This is what I got on a visit, yeah." Or one of my friends gave me or whatever. Alright. It looks exactly like Manny to me, yeah? It looks exactly like it. I was like, yeah, it looks alright. No, and he was like, and it wasn't a lot. Just put it on your finger and dab it like that, you know what I mean? You go and, like, yeah, it tastes alright. Tasted a bit sweet or whatever. Put it back through the pipe. There's nothing there. No, but he asked me if I wanted to buy it, yeah? That wasn't a bit of me. Not in jail anyway, yeah. He was trying to rip me off, basically. He asked me if I wanted to buy a paracetamol and sugar. But I said I didn't want it, right? And he ripped off a few people on the wing. Good thing I didn't want it. I mean, if he'd have said it was fucking just B, I'd have probably just bought it just for the fact that I could have ignored him and gone to sleep. He shouldn't have put the sugar in it. But he ripped off a couple of people and stopped coming out his cell. So no one could even do nothing. So everyone had to put up with him kicking. I used my next door as well for about 2 weeks, kicking the door, getting on the bell, arguing with a screw, giving yourself a million chicken scratches just to make yourself get your cell door open and you could talk to the bloody nurse and the doctor. You're meant to pity these people. You're meant to show them compassion, and you should show them compassion. But when you're banged up and you just want the time to go easy, don't you? You lose sympathy pretty quick. Anyway, if you enjoyed that, hit subscribe, and we'll chat tomorrow. Adios.